What's good, everyone? It's the one and only NY Phenom. If you guys enjoy NFL, NBA content, want to see some more gaming content soon, give this video a like, and if you're new, go and subscribe to the channel while you're at it. Now, let's get into this video. Listen, the Ravens are still the best team in football. Should I even talk about it? Lamar Jackson, Mark Ingram, monster defense. They're the best team in football. You got maybe the best coach of football, John Harbaugh. Besides Belichick, right under Belichick, you can talk about John Harbaugh as being the best coach in the NFL. He's really been one of the best coaches, one of the most underrated coaches for like the past decade. Super Bowl runs with Joe Flacco and the crew, and now getting it done with Lamar Jackson. You know, he's just really one of the best coaches in the NFL, just point blank. The win against the Buffalo Bills, overall good win, man. The Bills, they play their hearts out, but at the end of the day, Lamar Jackson, Mark Ingram was too much to handle. So overall, listen, that just shows the Ravens and Bills game. That just shows you can do everything you can to, really try to disrupt the Ravens' rushing offense. But at the end of the day, Lamar Jackson can make a big play with his arm. That 61-yard play that he made to Hayden Hurst pretty much iced the game. So, overall, that just shows how dominant this Ravens offense is. Listen, the Buffalo Bills, they stopped Lamar Jackson at 40 yards rushing. And they stopped Mark Ingram at 50 yards rushing on 15 carries. That's really good. But Lamar Jackson making that big play to Hayden Hurst, and then just the Baltimore Ravens defense overall. Josh Allen went 17 for 19, got sacked 6 times. The secondary was playing lockdown defense. This is the Ravens secondary that we thought it was going to be going into the season. One of the best secondaries in the NFL, right up there with the Patriots. Hell, it might be better than the Patriots. You got Marcus Peters, just playing some of the best football of his career. This guy, Marcus Peters, has really transformed his career and he's just been playing outstanding. Marlon Humphrey's one of the best corners in the game. Jimmy Smith is back healthy, balling. Earl Thomas being Earl Thomas, still showing that he got it. And is one of the best safeties in the NFL. And the fact that these guys lost Tony Jefferson and was able to replace that with Chuck Clark, Anthony Levine, and still be able to get things done, just salutes to the Ravens defense overall. They're just that great. But overall, the Ravens are the Ravens. Listen, from 2 to 5, honestly, we knew the Niners were going to be number 2 after their big win against the Saints. Look, I got the Niners 2-3 Saints. Listen, the Niners won, the Saints lost. That's that. Now, both of these two teams, they're probably the favorites right now at the moment to come out the NFC. They both are dealing with some big injuries, right? D Ford got injured during that 6th game. I think he re-aggravated his hamstring. That's not a good luck. They lost one of their starting guards. Forgot his name. I think it's like Ritzenberger, something like that. A key person to the offensive line, starting guard. He's out for the season. You lose Marquise Goodwin, and yes, Marquise Goodwin hasn't really been in the lineup that much. However, he's one of the fastest players in the NFL, and the fact that you're not going to get him back makes you lean more on the current wide receivers. The 49ers only have 4 wide receivers active during that game, and all 4 of the receivers played exceptional. Emmanuel Sanders being Emmanuel Sanders, Deebo Samuel being a beast, one of the best rookie receivers in the game. You got Kendrick Bourne was a beast in the red zone. So overall, they have talent, and of course you got George Kittle. So you can pretty much count him as a receiver who blocks, and he's just to do it all. But overall, the Niners won. It wasn't the best showcase of their defense, but Jimmy G got to show the world that he is the franchise quarterback, and that's that. He played his best game of his career. Yeah, where he put up like 4 touchdowns and all, had like over 400 yards. I mean, Jimmy G was out there balling. He was out there balling. Now, the defense struggled, but a lot of that was, of course, due to Drew Brees being great and being the legend that he is. Talking about the Saints, man, it wasn't the best showing of their defense at all. Their defense was horrendous. It was atrocious. It was an abomination. However, we got to see the best Saints performance of the year on the offensive side. Drew Brees had his best game of the season. Five passing touchdowns. Had another one on the ground. Had 6 total touchdowns that game. Throwing the ball, Mike Thomas had over 100 yards. Trey Smith got in the end zone. Ted Ginn had like 50 yards, and Jared Cook showed that he was the beast that he was. And who knows how that game would have turned out if Jared Cook didn't get injured after the first 2 possessions of the game. I mean, Jared Cook was out there balling. Both of the end zone catches. I mean, breaking tackles into the end zone. I mean, he literally looked like Jimmy Graham 2.0. And Cook has been doing this. And the fact that Cook is starting to get going is kind of scary, because that adds another weapon to this offense. And, if their offense can start to ball out how it did against the 49ers, somewhat like that on a consistent basis, they're going to definitely be in it to the end. But as far as the Saints defense, man, wasn't good. The secondary played terrible, okay? And the scary part is you lose Davenport for the year. This D-line, this Saints defensive line quietly has won one of the best defensive lines in the NFL, right up there with the 49ers and the Steelers and all the rest of them. I mean, to lose Davenport, that's huge. You can't replace that. Somebody that tall, that big, and that aggressive, and that explosive off the edge, you can't replace it. And we saw in the 49ers game that it was tough for them to stop the run. So the fact that you lose on one of your best run stuffers, you're going to find a way to, get that fixed. And the fact that they also lose their starting defensive tackle, Sheldon Rankins, one of their other best players on D-line. I mean, this is huge. And we saw them struggle with their secondary. And if you can't get that pressure from Davenport or Rankins, and you're going to be leaning on the secondary even more, I mean, that's not the best luck. So both of them are dealing with injuries. Going to number 4, I'm going to go with my Hawks. I'm going to go with my Seahawks. Listen, I'm not being biased. That Rams game, it was bad. It wasn't good. The Rams controlled the game throughout the entire game. I mean, they controlled it from the beginning, from kickoff. On the offensive side, on the defensive side, they were just controlling the entire game. Sean McVay out-coached us, and that was that. Okay, but, overall, the Seahawks have still been one of the best teams in the game. Losing someone like Rashad Penny hurts, because he was one of our most explosive players on the offensive side. However, we still got our number 1 running back in Chris Carson. He's going to just carry the ball more and just go full Marshawn Lynch, which I think he's capable of being, because I think a lot of people sleep on Chris Carson. I know he has a fumbling issue at times, a fumbling tendency, but at the end of the day, this guy's a baller, and he runs the ball aggressively and strong up the middle, and that's going to be key come playoff time. A lot of people can say that we're kind of predictable. We're kind of predictable. However, it's worked for, pretty much the past decade. We've been known as a running team since the beginning of the decade, and it's gotten us to championships with our stifling defense. Defense is starting to get there, a few defensive laps, but Quandre Diggs, he's been balling. Defensive line is starting to get healthy, Clowney and all. Losing someone like Michael Kendricks, that sting, of course. But as long as we're healthy with this defense and the offense can, just hold up. Pass blocking has been an issue a bit for the past 2 weeks. Hopefully they can get that fixed up. But overall, this Hawks team is still a contender. That was our first road loss of the year. And, right now with the 49ers being the top team in the West, it's kind of unfortunate. But we control our destiny. All we have to do is win out. We got the Panthers, Cardinals, and then we get to take on the 49ers to really take over the crown and see who's really the top of the West, the king of the West. And whoever wins that game has a big possibility of the entire NFC playoffs being ran through, their territory. But that's that. On to 5. This was kind of tricky, but I went with the Packers over the Chiefs. I had the Packers at 5, 6 Chiefs. Listen, I was thinking about it. I was like, maybe I should pick the Chiefs. They beat the Patriots and all. And the Packers, they struggle against the Redskins. The reason I'm going with the Packers is because I think overall, at the end of the day, I just think that they're the better all-around team if I had to put my money on it. Excuse me. Aaron Rodgers and Mahomes is a wash. Both of the most talented quarterbacks that we ever seen. Lace them up. I think the difference between this team, between both teams, if you ask me, the Chiefs are sitting at where are they sitting? They're sitting at like 9-4, something like that. The Packers are 10-3, so the record is not that much different. However, I think at the end of the day, the Packers peak. If the Packers peak at their defense how it was at the beginning of the year, they, in my opinion, have a top 10 defense. I mean, the names, we can rattle them off. The Smith brothers and Sedarius and Preston. Kenny Clark up the middle. You got Blake Martinez, one of the best tackling linebackers. You got a lockdown corner on the outside, Jorah Alexander. You got one of the best safeties in Adrian Amos. So rookie Darnell Savage has shown some promise. I think this Packers defense at their peak can really be better than the Chiefs. Now that's not discrediting the Chiefs. The Chiefs defense overall has actually been playing really well. I mean, this Chiefs defense is actually looking pretty solid. And a solid defense with Patrick Mahomes is scary. So I don't really think it's that much of a difference between both teams. And plus, the reason I'm also going with the Packers is because I think their running game is just better. I mean, the Chiefs' running game has been inconsistent all year, and the fact that they're losing one of their primary running backs in Darrell Williams, I mean, that stinks. And Aaron Jones has been one of the best running backs in the NFL this year. So with that being said, I'm going to go with the Packers over the Chiefs. 7 through 10, listen. I really had to think about it. I went with the Vikings at 7. Okay, I went with the Patriots at 8. The Patriots dropped to 8. 9 Bills, 10 Titans. Where should I start off with this? The Vikings really not that much to cover. The Vikings, they played the Lions. What did we expect? Total domination, and that's what it was. It's good that Adam Thielen, he's getting healthy at the right time. I think he's going to be back by next week. I think so. No guarantees. And plus, when you think about it, the Vikings overall has been one of the most healthier teams in the league when it comes to their starters. Kirk Cousins there, Dalvin Cook, I think he's going to be back. He's going to be back soon. Stephon Diggs has been right. You got the 2 tight ends, Kyle Rudolph and Irv Smith Jr. Offensive line's been there. And Adam Thielen is going to be back right in time. Defensive line is there. Daniel Hunter is a monster. Everson Griffin is still there. Linval Joseph, Steven, Anthony Barr. Just overall, Eric Kendricks. I mean, their team is still there. All you hoping, if you're a Vikings fan, is Xavier Rhodes can get into his 2017 form. I mean, I don't know who took Xavier Rhodes' superpower. I don't know who took his skills away. Who took Xavier Rhodes' skills away? Because I promise you, it was just 2 years ago where I was saying, damn, Xavier Rhodes really the best cornerback in the NFL? But he was really looking like that a few years back. I don't know what's happened. I'm not sure if it's a scheme thing. I'm not sure if he's just lost it. He got the yips or anything like that. But they need Xavier Rhodes to be Xavier Rhodes for this team just to be at their peak. When it comes to the Patriots, listen, Tom Brady has been looking like a BUM bum. Okay, that's not me calling Tom Brady a bum. He's maybe the greatest quarterback to ever lace him up. We know the greatness of Tom Brady. This offense has been atrocious. Running game hasn't been there. That's really alarming that the running game hasn't been there. A big factor of that is definitely James Delavan being out. Wide receiver core is not there. Defense is still good. Okay, it struggled a bit against the Texans. The Chiefs got a few plays on them, but overall, this Patriots defense is still elite. So my thing is, you get Isaiah Wynn back on the offensive line, get him going. You lose your starting center, he's not coming back. Your fullback, James Delavan, he's not coming back. So my thing is, if the running game is not going to be as good as it was last year, you have to find another receiver. N'Keal Harry, I like him, but this is just, maybe he's not ready in his rookie year. Jacoby Myers, come on now, really. Julian Edelman's a slot receiver, and Philip Dorsett is just a deep threat. And this offense is not predicated on just a deep threat. Sunu has been on and off. Listen, Patriots, it's this simple. Get AB on this team. I don't care what it is. Get AB off the field to sign whatever papers, pay the chicks off. I don't even care. Okay? Yeah, these chicks, they're greedy and they're doing you wrong. Yeah, but this AB, you haven't won a ring yet. If you join the Patriots, this is going to be your closest thing to a ring. Okay? Because when you were on the Steelers, you should have been in the Super Bowl a few times. This is the perfect opportunity for both sides. For the Patriots, you get the best receiver in the decade. AB, you join Brady, and you get to put this team over the top. Okay, they need another playmaker on this team to beat the Patriots. And hell, they play the Chiefs. I told you guys that all the Chiefs needed was one win to be like, damn, we can actually beat the Patriots come playoff time. It's that confidence. It's a confidence booster, man. On the basketball floor, if you're a basketball player, you know, all you need is one shot to go in the hoop to know, like, damn, I can score the ball at will now. That's all it is. And the fact that the Chiefs got a win on you guys had to go get another playmaker. That's that. 9 and 10. Bills, yeah, they lost. And they dropped one, but it was against the Ravens, the best team of football. The Bills still look impressive. They still one of the smartest teams on defense. Like I said, they made Lamar Jackson struggle a bit. Mark Ingram struggle on the ground running. They were really holding this running attack. You know, I don't want to say shutting it down, but they really put their effort out to really just handle this running game. However, they get a big play to Hayden Hurst. You usually don't see that. I think that's more on just the Ravens' greatness, honestly, than just the overall, the Bills' defense just not being aware. My thing is, this offense, though, it still needs some more development. Josh Allen, as fun as he is to watch, he still needs to be developed a little bit more accurate, a little bit more football awareness, a little bit more talent around him. Yes, John Brown is having a career year. Yeah, Cole Beasley is looking good in the slot. Yeah, you got Devin Singletary, a young running back. However, this whole entire offense needs to be developed a little bit more. I would like to see them go after a tight end this all season. Maybe a Greg Olsen, just saying it. But, you know, overall, this Bills team, it shows a lot of promise. And maybe they can win a playoff game this year. But overall, if we talking contenders, I like this Bills team, but it's just not there yet. And then when it comes to the Titans, man, hottest team in football besides the Ravens. They are right there up there with the hottest team in football. Ryan Tannehill is legit did a 360 and is looking like one of the best running backs best quarterbacks in the NFL. I mean, he was known as an average quarterback with the Dolphins, but ever since he's came into Tennessee and got the starting position over Marcus Mariota, he's really turned his organization around. Mike Vrabel is coaching his ass off. Derrick Henry is looking like one of the best running backs in the NFL. Starting to get utilized how he should be. I mean, this guy is a full wrecking ball down the field. Receiving talent like Corey Davis, AJ Brown, Adam Humphries. This team is legit. And it's kind of unfortunate that they lost Delanie Walker for the season. I would love to see Delanie Walker with this team. I think that would kind of put them over the top. But the defense been balling out. That front seven been balling. Secondary been balling. Just overall, man, the story is Ryan Tannehill just turned into a legit franchise quarterback. And that's that. And that's kind of all they were really missing. And now that they got that, the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit. They're getting hot at the right time. I'm not sure how the schedule really plans out. Oh, no. They face the Texans twice in 3 weeks, and I think they face the Saints in between. That's an interesting schedule. We'll see how that plays out, and, that's going to definitely be interesting. But overall, this is my power rankings. If you don't see teams like the Rams and Texans and Steelers and all, listen, the Rams, they will probably be 11 on this list. I just think the Titans, they're just hotter right now. They're just a harder team. Even though the Rams, they're getting hot at the right time, I just think the Titans have been a little bit more impressive. Texans, you lose to Drew Lock and the Denver Broncos. That's going to drop you. That's going to drop you. This is why I don't take the Texans for real. You get a big win against the Patriots and you lose to the Broncos at home. What's that about? And Steelers, they're looking impressive, but at the end of the day, their offense is just not going to be enough at the end of the day, even though I like the Steelers defense a lot. But that's it. That's all. That's my power rankings. If you don't like it, I don't really care. That's it. That's all. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'm the Phenomenal One, and I'm out. This is